Today's Edison Format deck profile, KristyaSworn. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are breaking down what I think is a little bit of a fan favorite as far as Edison decks go, and that is KristyaSworn. So we're going to be putting together Light Sworns, definitely a fan favorite, and Fairies as well too, which I think has really grown in popularity in the last few years for Edison. So let's go ahead, dive on in, but of course, before we do that, be sure to smash that subscribe button for all the future deck profiles. Alright guys, so starting off the deck, it's kind of how it gets half of its namesake. We're going to be starting with 3 copies of Archlord Kristya. Now Kristya is pretty slick because you're able to special summon him as long as you got 4 fairy type monsters in your graveyard. Not only that, when he's on the field, another player can special summon monsters. So not too bad, definitely a pretty solid floodgate for a format that I feel like doesn't have quite as many, especially compared to today. Now there are still floodgates in Edison format, but, you know, they're not quite as played as much. But Kristya is definitely one of the big ones in the format. So we're playing 3 copies of Kristya. Not only that, when I special summon, you can target a fairy type monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So you could add Honest back, considering this deck is pretty much 98% light when it comes to monsters. So yeah, we're going to be running Honest in here. So 3 copies of Archlord Kristya, followed by 3 copies of Soul of Purity and Light. Very solid for special summoning all the way back to Labyrinth of Nightmare, one of my favorite sets. So 3 copies of Soul and Purity of Light. All you gotta do is just banish 2 light monsters from your graveyard. So not too bad, not too bad. Not only that, it also decreases the attack of all monsters your opponent's side of the field by 300 points during the battle phase. So not too bad. I feel like that's one that everyone kind of forgets about, and me too sometimes. Yeah, we got 3 copies of Soul and Purity of Light. Next up, we have one of the hand traps in the format, because there's not many. There's really not many in Edison. We got 3 copies of Herald of Orange Light. Not only that, it is a tuner as well too, so pretty solid utility right there. So we got 3 copies of Herald, one of the only hand traps in the format. Then moving on to our Lightsworn package. So we got 2 copies of Celestia, Lightsworn Angel, which is nice because it's also a fairy as well too. Then we have our 1 copy of Jane, followed by our 1 copy of Aaron, our 1 copy of Lila, followed by our 1 copy of Arcus, our 1 copy of Lumina, our 1 copy of Garoth. Oh, I actually got mixed up. Our 2nd copy of Lila. I thought there was 2 in there, but I got a little mixed up there. And then our 3 copies of Raikou as well too, to round out our Lightsworn package, I guess you could say. So we definitely have enough names in here for Judgment Dragon. And yeah, that's kind of one of our win cons in the deck is big old JD. So that's going to be the package for Lightsworns in here. Followed by our 2 copies of Super Nimble Mega Hamster. Easy way to cheese out Raikou a little bit quicker. Almost like a honorary Lightsworn, I guess you could say. Next up, we have our big boss guy, as I was just mentioning. 2 copies of Judgment Dragon. Just to help him out a little bit quicker, we got 2 copies in here. So 2 copies of big old JD, followed by 2 copies of Honest. Because like I said, about 98% of our monsters in this deck are light, so you kind of get a little utility out of Honest in here. So might as well play 2, right? So 2 copies of Honest. Not only that, with Kristya, you're able to recycle him as well too, which is definitely nice. Next up, we have 1 copy of Plague Spreader, since we do mill in this deck. Pretty solid to have him in here for our tuner. Then we have 1 copy of Card Trooper, help mill a little bit quicker. And then 1 copy of Gores as well too. Now moving on to the spells, because this is pretty monster heavy. But we have 2 copies of Gold Sarcophagus, so anything that we might need to search out a little bit quicker. If we need a Kristya, if we need a JD, anything we might need in our deck a little bit quicker, we got 2 copies of Gold Sark in here. Followed by 1 copy of Charge of Light Brigade, get to our Light Sworns a little bit quicker. Followed by 3 copies of Solar Recharge, just to help mill and draw a little bit quicker. Then, to round out the spells, 1 copy of Heavy Storm. Now moving on to the traps, which we really don't have much of. We got 2 copies of Beckoning Light, since everything's pretty much a light as far as monsters go in our deck. Then 1 copy of Call of the Haunted as well too. And that rounds it out for the main deck. Now, the extra deck, there are a few cards that I am missing. And realistically, it's just the Avenging Knight Parchath, I think his name is. I'll pop him up. So I am missing him, so I do need a copy. And we have our 1 copy of Ancient Sacred Wyvern. I don't know why I always tongue twist that name. Ancient Sacred Wyvern. So 1 copy of him. Followed by 1 copy of our Mistworm. 1 copy of Magical Android. 1 copy of Colossal Fighter. 1 copy of Thought Ruler Archfiend. 1 copy of Red Dragon Archfiend. Copy of Stardust, of course. Copy of Ancient Fairy. Copy of Black Rose. Copy of Arcanite Magician. Tempest Magician. Brionac. Goyo Guardian. Ally of Justice Catastor. And Chimera Tech for the Cyber Dragon we'd have in our side deck. But like I said, I am missing that Avenging Knight Parchath, so if I had him in there, he'd pretty much be taking the spot of Ancient Fairy Dragon. So, in case you guys are making it online or building it yourself, definitely keep that in mind. So there you have it, guys. That is the KristyaSworn deck. Now, of course, like any other deck with the Light Sworns, you can kind of mess around with the ratios if you wanted to go that route. Those are the ones that I like. You know, I've seen a few other ones in place of Garoth, but hey, it's kind of up to you at the end of the day. And like I said, Avenging Knight Parchath, that's one that I definitely need to pick up. And so many decks do play him. That's kind of it's kind of bad that I don't have a copy. But leave your thoughts down below. What do you guys think? It's a deck that I see run pretty frequently. You know, nice little fairy Light Sworn deck, getting Kristya out there to help floodgate against the opponent. So, you guys let me know down below what you think. What would you do differently? Do you like this deck? You know, because some people don't. That's quite all right. But of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see future deck profiles down the line. And of course, be sure to check out those links down below as well. Use that TCG player link if you guys are getting any Edison cards. Helps the channel out more than you can know. We'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye. And good night.